All right, we are in the Pebble Beach 18-hole Cup. So we have 18 holes, brand new thing. First time we've ever had an 18-hole course in Golf Clash. And so today's the first day of qualifying. So I guess it's going to be qualifying today and tomorrow. And then if you don't make it in the first round, then you've got Thursday and Friday to qualify in the second round. And then you have Saturday and Sunday to make it into the tournament. So here we go. Here we go. I looked on Golf Clash Elite. I couldn't find any bigger pictures for the holes, and Tommy still doesn't have any bigger pictures for the holes. And so we're just going to have to play. I did go back and watch my video for the front nine. I only have notes for the front nine right now. I haven't watched the back nine, but I wanted to at least get the front nine video out. And then I'll have to watch the back nine video before I do the back nine to qualify, and we'll see how it goes. They seem pretty straightforward. Going back, it seemed straightforward last night when I practiced. And then when I went back and watched it today, they seem pretty straightforward. I didn't really bring out anything special as far as ball. Now, if you've got lower or mid-level clubs, there are some of the holes. Be thinking in the back of your mind, there are some of the holes that, like, if you still brought out a par 3 ball, you could get way up there. But if you're looking at like a level 3, 4, 5, 6 extra mile, even though you've got a lot more raw distance in that club than you do in your big topper, your big topper might net you more yardage down the course because it's got 100 topspin. And you may only have a club that's got, if you've got a mid-level or a low-level extra mile, and it's only got its 2.5 or 3 or 4, or even if it's got 5. 50 more topspin is huge. Even if you're losing 20 yards on of raw distance, that 50 topspin is going to make a big difference. So this could be and the fairways are pretty wide open. And this will be a great hole. And I didn't do yesterday when I practiced. I didn't do really on any of the drives. I think there was only maybe one of the drives that I needed to add on a variable. Most of them were just the wind divided by wherever you were at in your club, and you're at max club. So, and a lot of them, if you've got mid-level or upper developed clubs, I pulled back from the red line with a 3-power ball so I could leave myself enough room on a headwind day. And so it seemed pretty straightforward. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. So hole number 1, let me make sure I got a rock bag. Those are really the only 2 bags I used. And I only used the rock bag on one hole, and I used it because it has a little bit better ball guide. And so I was just you're going down the hill, and it was a little bit easier to use the rock. There's probably a couple holes you could use the rock on. Let me clean my stuff up real quick before I forget. We'll do my max club card trading, see where we're at. I'm pretty much at the point where even if I got that hammerhead up, man, I really like the Cataclysm, the level 7 Cataclysm, but I am working on my hammerhead to try and get it up, but I'm also trying to get my Grim Reaper. I'm trying to get my tier 3 clubs, any of the Tour 3 or below epics maxed out so I can get them out of the queue. But I'm going to work on my hammerhead. I am trying to get it to level 7, and then I don't know that you get a lot. It had a lot already, and I don't know that it's something that you get a lot when you get it to level, getting it to level 8. I don't know that there's a lot more that you get. But it could be an option. It could be an option in my bag. Like, where is it at right now? Now it's got a lot of backspin to get, and I think it gets some good stuff when it gets to level 7, because level 7 used to be max. And when they came out with the club card trading and we got that whole deal with the club card trading, they upgraded a bunch of clubs, and then they added on an extra level on the epics. And so now you can get it to level 8. But before it used to be maxed, and so they were already pretty awesome clubs at level 7. And so when they upped them to level 8, a lot of the epics didn't really, you'll notice when you look if you're looking at the clubs, if you're on Golf Clash Notebook or on Tommy's site, the difference between a level 7 and a level 8 epic, there's not a lot of difference on some of them. There is some difference, but some of them it's not, once you get it to level 7, you're pretty much there. All right. I've got the balls chosen. There was one of the holes that coming into the cup, I wanted to use a Kingmaker, but I think for the most part, we're good to go right there. And there was one of the holes that I looked at, and I went back and looked at, that I noticed a rough bump that we could do on the second shot. So we will give it the old college try today and see how it is. Now I'm going to open up this black chest and I'm going to get every single club card I need right here in this one chest. No, not quite, but close. I almost got every club card I need. Almost. All right, here we go. Now, I noticed something yesterday and the practice, just letting people know if you're practicing. I noticed that on hole number 1, I timed out on my first shot. We've all done that before, especially if you're out there practicing and you're actually practicing. You've never played the hole. You're checking out what ball, where you're at, trying to make a decision on what you want to do, and then your second shot, you take the shot. That way, because most people don't practice, that way you can get your second shot going into the cup and you get to play the hole. But you're not worried about the score because you don't win anything. I timed out on my first shot, and then the second shot, it wouldn't let me use my driver. It made me use my wood. And then later on on the front side, I did the same thing, and it let me use my driver. And then I was on the back, and I timed out, and it put me in the rough right in front of the tee box and made me hit it with my wood. I actually chipped it back over to the tee box and then hit it with it made me hit it with get my mouth to work, the rough iron, my Nirvana. And I chipped it back over to the tee box, and then it let me hit it with my wood. So be careful if you practice, because I think they've jacked around with that. I understand from their perspective why they might do something like that, but on the flip side of the coin, I didn't take the shot. I gave up a shot, and I'm still on the tee. I'm still on the tee box, and so I should still be able to use my driver. And for them to put me in the rough, I didn't hit it into the rough. I timed out. So just a warning if you practice that might happen. So I actually didn't get to take the drive shot on hole number 1 because I ended up taking it with my wood. So I have no idea. So on hole number 1, we're just going to wing it. I'm going to act like it's practice, and we'll go from there. Hold on. All right, I'm back. All right, hole number 1. What are we doing on hole number 1? Hole number 1, APOC. I have no idea what we're doing on hole number 1. I do have a plan though. I'm gonna do it max on this just to see what happens, just to see what my trajectory's like, so that I was hoping yesterday that I could get one shot off with my driver so that I could work on trajectory. It's like doing artillery. So today we're gonna have to do the artillery. And let me get my calculator working here. Let me get my notes set up on the right side so I can read my notes, and I got club card numbers just in case I need them on my cheat sheet. Get my calculator set up. Jeez. Could you be ready when you get on? At least I have my grid up today, so I don't have to go look for that. All right, here we go. The first hole, I'm using an APOC, and I was going to bring a Kingmaker on this hole. There was 2 holes, or maybe this was the one. But I'm bringing a Kingmaker just because we're trying to walk it around the corner. I think I'm actually going to over curl it, and so I could probably do it with a Titan, but I would rather over curl it the first time, and I can either move it, the shot's coming out into this area right here, and then it's going back to the right, and I don't know how big this angle is, so we're going to find out. We're going to take one shot and find out. So it's whatever the wind is divided by 1.2. I'm not doing any extra. I'm not using an extra variable. I'm going to be 2 rings off, max top spin, max side spin, max curl, no overpower. And we'll see how far that throws me down there. I think you could actually do this with not max top spin. You could probably do it I think you could probably do it with maybe 60, maybe even 50 top spin. With an extra mile, we'll have to see how much it can curl around the corner. It might be a little more difficult with an extra mile. It might not have enough curl. You might have to use a bigger side spin ball, or if you've got an APOC, you might have to use your APOC. A bigger ball with a rock, and it's got a lot of curl. But what I don't want to have to do is any overpower like my opponent's doing. Although with an extra mile, that's probably what you're going to have to do. And they're using the wind. There you go. They're using the wind, and if they do hit it good, I think that's going to blow off the back of the green. I think they're going to end up in the sand. Yeah, they needed to hit that perfect. And the greens are pretty slick here, so I'm not sure that wouldn't have blown off the back. 2 rings off, max. Man, I really don't think I need to use max. I'm going to do 2 less than max. 3, 2.5 rings. 2.5 rings. I'm at the plus 16 mark, 2 rings off of the rough. 2.5 rings. Max curl, 2 less than max topspin. No overpower, perfect shot. Let's see how far my trajectory is off. That's about right. That's about right. And if I'd have put that extra topspin on there, 2 things would have happened. Number 1, I would have gotten farther, but it would have sucked me more to the left. But I will tell you that these greens are green, a very small fringe, and then the rough. There's no fairway around the greens. So if you slide off the green, you're going to end up, there's a pretty good chance you're going to end up in the rough. I mean, you could get caught up in that fringe, but that fringe doesn't slow you down. I'd rather be where I'm at and just take a short chip. This is Firefly Rapier country. Two less than max. -2. Topspin. Now I counted up the holes yesterday, and I think I got it right. Is this a par 71 course? Like in the real world, if they're matching up with the real world, it's a par 71. Most courses are like full courses are par 72 courses. But I think this one was a par 71. I'm going to go on the right-hand side of the flagpole. Hitting it perfect. See if it came in on the right-hand side. Yeah, it was kind of on the right-hand side. In the hole. Woo! There we go. Can't get too excited. I think a lot of these par 4s, we have to make them. There seemed like there was one that we needed to do a chip up on, but that hole right there is right there. Right. Okay, hole number 2. My notes say it's a par 5. I got APOC Titan max topspin, and I think this one was just like straight down the course. And I was either in. Let's see if we can see. I wish we could get this is what it was like when this game first came out. You had no access to bigger pictures. The only thing you could see was these little teeny thumbnails that are on here. It would really be nice if Golf Clash actually in their news feed or came out with and posted the bigger pictures. But all we could see was these little teeny thumbnails. It is pretty straightforward. And yesterday I didn't do. What did I do yesterday? I think I did this at the plus 16 mark. So I was with the 3 power ball at the plus 16 mark. Max topspin. I did plus 0 on the drive. And I ended up at 391. And that put me at minimum grizzly. And it might be one of those things where it might be better to bring out a bigger power ball, not so much for the drive to get you any more distance than the 391, but so that on the second shot you are in your short iron. I've always had more luck going to the cups with my short iron. It's always good to get in short iron. It's always good. It's always. I'm going to switch that ball to a Titan. The king of balls. That's right. You heard it here. And I took the shot yesterday to the cup, and I did not hit it perfect. But where it rolled past the cup, it looked like if I did hit it perfect, I didn't pull it enough. Like I should have done like a plus 10 or something. So I'm going to do that today. Tighten. Plus 16 mark. No overpower. Did I do the plus 16 or did I pull back? I could have swore I pulled back a little bit, but maybe I didn't. .8 divided by 1.2. 3.16 rings. We're going to call it 3.2. There's 3.2. Hitting it perfect. Perfecto. I was at 391 yesterday, and that was a little bit close over there on that side. 388. So pretty close distance, but that's definitely going to still put me in the minimum grizzly, which is 1.3 per ring. And after yesterday's shot, what happened was, here's the cup, here's the flagpole. I hit a grate to the right, and it came by right here, and I think a perfect would have missed on the other side of the cup. I underpulled it. The wind was blowing this direction, same direction. So I'm going to add on 5%, 1.05, which is like plus 0.1 or 2, just depending on which way the wind's going, how high the wind's going, times the wind. Minimum grizzly is 1.3. There's minimum grizzly. Let's make sure I'm far enough away from the red line so that I don't have any red line issues. What I really like to do on these shots is to try and put on one backspin. .1, 3.31 rings. I'm not so sure that shouldn't be 3.4. There's 3, 2.5, 3, 1. Hitting it perfect. Woo! In the hole. Perfect. Albatross. Dun-dun-dun-dun. No fuss, no muss. Now, if it would have been a headwind day, bringing out, I started off at the plus 16 mark. I should put that note on here because there's a bunch of these holes that I moved back. Plus 16 mark. On a headwind day, you could go out there with a bigger power ball just to, if you came out with a 4 power ball, it would give you a little bit of room to work out the headwind. And you have a straight up shot. Minimum club. It's always better to be in minimum club than it is to be in max. There you go. All right, what's hole number 3? My notes say plus 0 on the drive, and I'm with my APOC, so it's the wind divided by 1.2. And I pulled back to the plus 3 mark with 2.5 to 3 topspin, and I wrote 1.5 left-hand side spin. But I think I set that up, like I found a spot and then I set it up. So plus 3 mark. And I used a Titan. Titan. The king of balls. Titan selected. That bag works. Plus 3 mark. Now, it's hard to tell. Some of these holes, it was kind of hard to tell whether or not we needed to do an adjustment on the drive because, like here, we're getting a pretty good tailwind. Not quite straight tailwind, but it's hard to tell on tailwind days. You can really tell whether or not you need to make an adjustment on sidewind days. And headwind days, those shots, it's good to take at least one. Yeah, that's almost a pure backspin. So I was at the plus 3 mark. And I had 2.5 topspin, 1.5 left, so 2.5. I'm going to do just 2 3/4, 2.5. Where's that put me? Yeah, right out in there. 2 rings off of that transition. 4 is 3.33 rings. There's 3 1/3. Hitting it perfect. That was dead center perfect. And it did look like it pushed me just a little teeny bit to the right. So maybe like 5% on that drive would help. I'm going to write +5 drive. And I am not interested in getting on these par 4s. Like, there's one of them that I am kind of shooting for the green because it's got a little bit of a backboard and you can roll on it, and there is a backboard. But I'm really interested in just being like right where I'm at. I don't want to get to the green. I'd rather just chip it up there because I think these greens are super slick and the chance of rolling off into the rough is like super great. Just like that. Out of bounds. Look at that. That is brutal. Brutal. Isn't it perfect? In the hole. Woo! Look at that. Once again, you can't get too excited about these because we really like all of these par 4s. Jeez. There is one coming up here, though, that you can't get on, or you can't get right off like that. You're going to have to shoot it up into the spot, and then you're going to have to take the shot from distance. But I'm not so sure on that hole, having only played it once. I'm not so sure on that hole if you couldn't bring out the right ball that you might not be able to get up there. All right, is this? No, we're on hole 4. We are on hole 4, and it is a par 4 as well. Is this the one? Maybe this was the one. This hole right here, I think I shot with my rock. Maybe there was 2 par 4s that we had to chip up, because I think we had to chip up on this one as well. I was using, well, maybe not. Maybe not. I think we were, because I wrote down my rock, and I pulled back with my rock to the +5 mark. And I have Titan with 3 topspin. And I wrote down +10 on the drive. 1.1 times the wind divided by 1. Uno. Hey, if I can get my calculator to work here, 1.1 times. All right, here we go. Here we go. 3 topspin. Half of a left-hand side spin. I really am not like I really don't like the way they're doing. Yeah, I guess this was straightforward. Rock +3 mark. How much? What did I have on there? 3 topspin? 3.5. I started off right here. This is the one that I was actually trying to get on. Try and roll down towards the cup. 3.7, 4.1 rings. And we'll see if that +10 was needed, because in the headwind that I was in the practice round, I ended up not getting all the way to the green. It pushed me back and laid me up a little bit, and I'm just curious to see, that's what I'm looking for. I'm getting a run at it. See how easy it would be to get off right there, but at least you got a hole-in-one shot right there. It's dangerous. Danger, Will Robinson. Danger. Plus 3 mark, 3 top spin, half a left-hand side spin. With a rock. Come on. And the reason I was using a rock right there is because it has better ball guide. So, if, like using a rocket or something that's got really good ball guide, and you may have to change your numbers just based off of the distance of the club, but like using something that's got really good ball guide, because that is definitely a hole that you want to know. It would be better to either be right in front and see if that's enough speed to roll them off. That's good. Nice. Nice. Nice and easy. In the hole. See if my opponent can get in. I'll be real quiet for him. Woo! Check them out. They're sporting some jewelry. 2 billion earned. Playing some games. Here we go. All right, what do we have here? We're on hole number 5. Jeez. Grizzly Titan. First par 3. Not a lot of par 3s. And I am taking a Grizzly. This is with my Grizzly. I'm in mid club, and I played it with a Titan yesterday, and it was right around mid, so I'm going to stick with the Titan, because if I bring out a lower power ball, it's not necessarily going to put me at max, it's going to put me at 3/4 club, and I don't want to have to work that. So I'm going to do what I was going to do is I'm at mid Grizzly. Damn. Let's see, mid Grizzly's 1. Is that right? It's 1 per ring. Mid club, max pull. What does that mean? I'm going to add on 10%. So I'm going to do 1.1 times the wind divided by 1. Here we go. What I didn't write down, and I should have, is I didn't write down my spin. Because this is one of those ones where you're kind of down in the hill. Down in the valley, I should say. Down in the hill. You're down in the valley. And, is that the right one? No, this is a different one. It's the other par 3. It's hole number 7. That must be the other one. That's the one. It's the hole that we have in the shootout, or the golden shot. And I was doing the rough bump. I don't want to hit off that hill. The rough bump is on a hill, but I definitely don't want to hit off that hill. I want to try the rough bump and see if. And it looked like we had enough room. Like we were pretty far into the rough bump. Like even if we hit a great to the left or the right, we'd still be fine. But we're gonna find out. It's all coming back to me now. Whatever the wind is, times 1.1 divided by 1. 2.9. 3.2 rings. There's max. There's mid. There's mid. So I'm eking min. Or mid. I'm going to start off over here. I'm going to do just a titch. A backspin. .2 rings. Let's try and get somewhat lined up with the wind. 3, 2. perfect. That was dead center. That's 2 dead center perfects in a freaking round. Look at that. Still off. Over pulled it. I think the deal is there that we're going to get, because we're hitting off of, like the shot my opponent did, they're hitting off of this type of hill. So if you set up here and you got your ball guide going to it, and let's just say that there was 0 wind. We didn't have to do, all we had to do was just a normal, there's 0 wind. So you line it up towards the cup, there, you don't have to make any adjustment. You hit it perfect and it goes in the hole. And let's say not only is there 0 wind, so we don't have to make an adjustment. If we've lined up to the cup, we're going to go in the cup, and we hit it perfect. The deal is if this area down here, you hit just a little blade of grass high, and it's going to go that direction. You hit a blade of grass low, it's going to go in that direction. And you really got to hit that spot. That spot. And because we don't have 0 wind, we're going to have some kind of wind. And even though it might be low because we're a rookie, we're still going to have something. And when you're making that move, everything's got to be absolutely perfect. Well, the spot that I'm hitting on is rolled like this. So if you hit over here, it's going to go one way. If you hit over here, it's going to go another. And so these are this is one of those holes that I want to check out, because that rough area there's several spots that you could hit that rough bump. You could, if you had a bigger power ball or a bigger side spin ball, there is a spot forward of where I shot it that you might be able to bring it over that looked like it's a little flatter. And I actually yesterday hit it a little bit closer, but I was trying to get it looked like there was a little flat spot right there near where I was at, but I don't think there's any of those spots. Even on the rough bump, I don't think there's any spot that's absolutely flat. And so it might be hard for us to dial that in. I'm going to keep working on it, but I overpulled that one, so I'm going to just do 1-to-1. Just hit it at mid. We'll see. Hole number 6. What is hole number 6? My notes say APOC. Okay. All right. Let's look at the picture here. This is a par 5, and on our drive, we're just tapping it out there. I'm going to have to take this drive shot. I think I know what I should do on the drive shot. I set it up with a rock, and then I switched over to an APOC. And when I switched over to the APOC, what I did with the rock was I was at the plus 16 mark. I was at max club with a 3 power ball, and I was like, I'm gonna take this with a bigger power club so that I can pull back from the red line. But then, of course, when I switched to the bigger power club, I didn't pull back from the red line. I did 2 top spin, and it was in the perfect spot. But what I really want to do is pull back from the red line and then put on a little bit more topspin so that I give myself some room for headwind days. So I'm going to have to take this drive shot again for the first time. So my notes basically suck. So I'm going to do 3 topspin. I'm going to do 4 topspin from the plus 3 mark. And we'll see how that goes. I'll take that bag. I'm going to take that ball. Now, what I noticed on the second shot was the second shot, you're coming up, here's the green, and you're coming up through the fairway to the green, and there's a ridge right here, and the top part's kind of flat, and this part is really sloped down. And in order to get up here on the flat area to bring it back to the cup, your angle is like this, and you'd have to have a ton of side spin, or you'd have to use a bunch of curl. And this is, we're going for the flagpole. And you don't want to have to be, anytime you're going for the flag to try and sink the ball to get an albie, and you include the word curl in your shot description, you are in big ass trouble, because that is super hard to replicate. It makes the shot totally inconsistent. So we want to try and make it consistent. So if you're hitting off of this hillside, you get the same effect that we was talking about a minute ago, where you're hitting on this type of hill. You hit high, it goes one way, you hit low, it goes another, and you got to hit the spot. But what I noticed on this is 2 things. I wrote originally on my notes, try Guardian, because your red line was up there enough that you could actually try and dunk it. But then what I noticed when I took the second shot and I was watching my own video is that there's a rough bump up there, and I think there's a sniper rough bump that we can do. And that's what I'm going to try. I was going to originally bring a Guardian on this hole, but I'm going to bring my Guardian. Hold on one second. All right, where was I? I'm on hole number 5, Grizzly. Am I on hole number 5? Pebble Beach, par 5. No, I'm on hole number. What? Let's make sure. I'm on hole number 6. All right. I had to refamiliarize myself with what I'm doing here. I'm redoing this hole. I have no idea what to do on the drive. I'm going to try and pull back to the +3 mark and do 4 topspin, but I think the topspin I might need to do. I'm not sure if that's enough. The second shot yesterday, I was pretty far down there with yesterday, and I wasn't quite in mid club doing the rough bump. I had enough room in front of me that if there was a headwind day, I had plenty of room to work the wind out. I was a good 5 rings away from the red line. I'd like to get back to that same spot so that I could try the rough bump. And I have no idea, so I'm just going to do a 0 on the second shot because I have no idea. If I remember correctly, it's uphill. So there is an elevation change, but that has nothing to do with the variable that we do. Okay, they've got they're going to end up in the rough. That's going to overshoot that. There you go. 4 topspin. They're at the +7 mark. Let's see where they end up. I'm going to bring out a bigger ball so that I don't have to, just for this, it'll help on the first shot, but the second shot, it'll definitely get me in the range. We'll see at the +7 mark how much 4 topspin does. And I'm going to be a little bit more to the right, and that 4 topspin might be a little bit too much at the +7 mark. I was guessing, and I did the +3 with 4 topspin. So let's see, if I pull back to the +3 mark, we want to be dead center in the middle of that fairway. Give ourselves as much room as possible. There's 4 topspin. I'm going to stick with the 4 at the +7 with no side spin. 3.1 divided by 1.2. 2.58 rings. 2.6. Let's get lined up. There's 2.6. No overpower. Perfect. Perfect. Yeah, and that's pushing it right there with 4. And that was on a tailwind day, a pretty good tailwind day. So that might be work. Maybe I'm gonna write on my notes. Maybe 3 3/4 topspin. We'll see what the distance is right here to see if I have enough distance. You can see where that rough bump's at. I didn't notice it the other day when I shot it, and I took the shot from where my opponent is, but when I went back and watched the replay, right here there's a rough bump area. It might be a dangerous rough bump area, but it looks like there is one. And I have no idea if there's a variable that we need. Right there, that rough. Maybe. And this might be something where I should have brought a kingmaker so I have access to a little more spin. See where my red line is. There's my red line. That's what I was talking about 5 rings up. Man, that is narrow. And 2 side spin does work. 4-2. I'm going to just do 4-2. Oh, I think I missed. Whew. And I got lucky right there. That is definitely a shot we want to take again, because that I'm going to have to go back and watch. This is why it is so important to watch your own video there, because here's that little rough area where I was at, and I was trying to be dead center on it, and I missed great to the right, and it did hit, but it looked or great to the left. And maybe that did hit right where I was aiming. Man, that was I was doing my Neo impression right there, dodging bullets. Woo! All right. That is a shot, though. There is a spot right there. And what I like about the sand here is the sand isn't distorting the rings. So the sand seems pretty... the pull into the sand was the same as the pull in the fairway. So there was no distortion of the rings or none of that stuff. I'm not saying that's how it is on all of them, but that's how it was there. Now, there is another way we could play that, and I wrote on my notes here, I've got my notes for my second shot to the cup written in 2 sections. I've got try guardian, try sniper rough bump. So that was the sniper rough bump. But the other way we could play that is where our red line was at, like here was the flagpole, and here's where I hit. My red line was kind of in between. I had 5 rings of separation. That's at 172. And your guardian hits at 179, so you're going to be able to get up a little bit closer towards the cup. And you might actually, with a 3-power ball, if you got enough distance on the drive, be looking at a dunk on a tailwind or a pure sidewind day. But I think you could still do the backspin there. So you do have some options other than just hitting it out there in the fairway and trying to bring it. I really don't like hitting off of those hills because it's so inconsistent on the end. Just trying to look, hey, maybe hitting off of that hill is the way. But at least exploring all of the other possibilities that are out there. That's the goal. Okay, mid-thorn. It's a par 3. This is the one. Par 3, mid-thorn. 1 backspin. 1 left side spin. 2.3 to the cup, and I had a navigator. I was using a navigator. Mid-thorn. Okay, mid-thorn, and what was I doing? Plus 0, plus 0.1 if it was less than 3 miles an hour, and plus 0.2 if it was more than 3 miles an hour. It's the wind divided by 2.3. 1 backspin, 1 left-hand side spin. Find the spot. I go first. 1 backspin, 1 left-hand side spin. Find the spot. 4.5. It's 195. I'm going to count that as 2. I'm going to do 2-2. There's 2. That might be 2-1. Oh man, am I on a great thing now? Now I'm hitting a great. I lost my mojo. Damn, that would have been. I'm not sure that would have been in. I still might have missed it by not pulling it enough, but that would have definitely been closer. Now, I should have seen where my max thorn is, because this might be, I'm in mid thorn. Should have pushed it forward to see where my max is, to see if I was up there. They didn't push it up far enough for me to see, and they got a 3-power ball. But if you could get up there, this might be another one of those holes that it might be better with the thorn to try and get up there to the cup and use backspin to get in it. Because you can avoid all of that irregular stuff down there at the bottom, and you could start off on the green. And then you're really just working the adjustment, whatever the variable is. And I think I'm going to try that next time I play this hole. I am. I have no idea what I'll have to bring out, and that 3-power ball might not be enough. But I'm not going to bring out anything bigger than a 3. Maybe. No. And if I did, it would be a Zerk. Because we're only bringing out the bigger ball for the distance, not for anything else. All right, what are we on? Hole number 8. Hole number 8. Now this is one that I was going to bring a Kingmaker on. And you're trying to get into thorn range. And I was in an APOC with a Kingmaker at the plus 13 mark, max topspin, plus 0 to the cup. Or plus 0 on the drive. So it was whatever the wind is divided by 1.2. At the plus 13 mark, max topspin. And I think I was still a little short. Like I still had some distance. I was at the 363 mark yesterday. And my opponent yesterday was also in thorn, and they did a backspin shot and it went in, and I tried to run it up there. But when you run it up there, the green, here's, if we split the green in half, and here's the flagpole, I came in like this and I was going down the hill. And I think that just the terrain itself like made my ball wash out to the left. My opponent did the backspin shot, but it's straight over here. So what I'm going to try today, the reason I'm bringing a Kingmaker, is because I want to try and set up more to the left and see if I can put on right-hand side spin and straighten my guide out and be hitting the ball from the, instead of having to get use that. I was at the plus 13 mark. And I had max top spin, one side spin. Gave me 2 rings of separation on the drive, and it was 3.9, 3 1/4. 3 1/4 rings. And there is 3 1/4. Hitting it perfect. Bam, hit the rough, roll out on the green. All right. I think I got a little teeny bit more distance yesterday. And if I can't get over into, and you can see it here, right here's the trough, and I hit from up here like my opponent is, and when you fall down to it, it's falling down to the hole. But if I could start off right here and put right-hand side spin on it, I might be able to ride at the bottom of that hill all the way to the cup and go straight. If I can't do that, I'm going to do the backspin shot. Ooh, that was close. And I think we probably, yesterday I didn't add anything onto the cup, but I did put plus 10 to the cup. There's Thorn, where's Max? There's Max. So I don't have enough distance, so I'm going to have to start off right here. Yeah. And you can straighten it out down here. I like that. So it's 1.1 times 3 divided by 1.7. It's 1.94 rings. $194. That was probably $195. Hitting him dead center perfect. I really don't like that shot. I really didn't like where my first bounce was up there. I was having to put a little bit more, like if you put that much backspin on it, I'd just rather put on max backspin. That's you get to a certain point where you're putting on the backspin, and that's not typically how I like to set the shot up going to the cup. Like maybe on the drive, instead of setting it up there, being right off the green, where you could put on just a couple backspin and you're really kind of working your side spin more. Otherwise, I'm going to have to work more diligently to get a little more distance on the drive so that I have enough room that I can get right to the cup and do a backspin shot. And the whole deal there is it's not about bringing out a bigger ball, although you could start off if you brought out a bigger ball, and I did pull back from the red line just a little teeny bit. That area where I started my shot out there was a pocket up here, and then the fairway went like this, and I tried to be 2 rings off of this. And what I could do is push my ball up into this pocket and then run my topspin over, and it made, like, I was at the plus 13 mark, and if I moved to the plus 16 mark, I get a little more distance. But if I brought out a 4 power ball or now an 8 power ball on the other side, I might be able to make it all the way over and not do the rough bump, and then be able to really kind of get my distance where you're going up that backboard and then rolling out and really get some good distance. I need to play this hole a couple more times to really kind of figure out what's the best way to get over to the other side, but it might end up being bringing out a bigger power ball just to get you higher up into that pocket. And you'd probably have to put some right hand curl on it on the drive, or if you brought out a ball that had more side spin, so you could put the side spin on it. And I don't think I used all the side spin on the drive. I think I only used 1. So, you know, a 2 or 3 side spin ball might work. Might just. Okay, APOC Titan plus 10 mark, max topspin. And then I used a rapier to the cup. Is that right? All right. APOC Titan. APOC Titan, the king of balls. Plus 10 mark, max topspin. I did 0 on the drive. And we're getting a lot of pure tailwinds on these drives, so I'm not sure. I'll have to go back and watch this video, because it seemed like there was at least 1 or 2 of them that we did have side wind that I thought that I needed to make a slight adjustment on the drive. And I have written down a couple, so I'll have to go back and watch it to make sure. It's really important to record your own video, especially when we're playing new holes like this and you're really trying to work your notes for the first time. Max topspin plus 10 mark. Max topspin. And I was at the plus 10. I'll be kind of dead center. I want to be just slightly to the right of dead center. 2.2 divided by 1.2. 1.83 rings. There's 1.83. Isn't it perfect? I didn't write down what my distance was yesterday, but I was in a rapier and I wasn't quite at the super easy chip. I was at like mid club. So if I put a little teeny bit, I was at the plus 10 mark. If I pushed up to like the plus 12, I'd probably be right off the green or right on the fringe. This is another one of those holes. There's no fairway going around the green. So, I mean, if you hit the green with any speed, you're going to be in the rough. I should be in mid here. So it's whatever the wind is divided by 2.2. I believe. Rapier. Well, it's 1.1, 2.3. Man, I really don't like that 2.3. Maybe. Yeah, I'd really, like, my opponent's in a great spot. I would rather not have the putt. I'd rather have a little chip, but some of these holes you can be that far away and it doesn't seem like you're that far away and you're in a max shot. And there's max, there's mid. I'm actually a little shy of mid. .9, 1.77 rings. Get it lined up. There's 175. That's 177 exactly. Isn't it perfect? In the hole! Woo! Look at that. How do I know that that was 177 exactly? Or if there's anybody ever out there asking, I'm that good. You better lift your feet off the floor because there is a wave of BS that's just like sliding through. A wave, a tidal wave. Dare I say tsunami. All right, it's a draw. All right, I barely qualified up here. Like, look at, like, right there, right above me, there's already a 9 with a 17, and that was a pretty stout. I mean, I only dropped, I didn't pick up, let's see, I picked up hole number 1, I got the Albie on hole number 2, I picked up hole number 3, I picked up hole number 4, I didn't get the hole-in-one on hole number 5, I didn't get the Albie on hole number 6, I didn't get the hole-in-one on hole number 7, I missed the par 4 8. This is the only one of the par 4s that I dropped. And I need to work on that because you're in Thorn and you got a pretty decent shot right there. This hole I'm definitely going to work on because this hole is definitely there. I need to find the right, I'm bringing the right clubs, but I think I can work this hole and get myself in a better spot with a different ball. And hole number 9, I got the eagle. So that's not a bad round. I mean, I missed 1 par 5, 2 par 3s, and 1 par 4. I mean, that's not a bad round, and there's already somebody that's ahead of me right there. And they got the eagle, Albie, eagle. They missed the par 3. They got the eagle on 6. They missed the par 3. They did pick up hole number 8, so they got all the par 4s. That's the one right there. So not bad. So like just looking at that, I mean right there, that is a pretty easy 17. I mean, we could take out this hole right here is not a gimme. I think the other par 4s are pretty, I mean, those are pretty easy. And you're not always going to be able to guarantee yourself an Albie, but we can, there's a great Albie shot there. And these par 3s are, you know, these are the shots that win you tournaments, not get you to the minimum. So if we drop this down to a 2 and everything else, and we drop this down to a 1, because it is not a gimme. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So I mean, like 15 should be our minimum score on the front. And the back's going to be different because of the holes. So like a 15 on the front should be kind of like where we're looking at minimum. It didn't take a lot of effort to get some of those eagles. All right. We will see. That's the first round of playing it. So I still have the back 9. What I have to do, and I don't know, it's 8:05 right now. And I got to go to bed here in like an hour. So I will probably watch the video tonight and get some notes set up for tomorrow. And then tomorrow, as soon as I get done, I will play. So at least you'll have a look at the front. Especially for those of you that aren't going to. And I will tell you, when you got these brand new holes, this would be a great opportunity to go out there and practice. Like, don't shoot your round today. Or don't shoot, you know, just, if you're lighting it up, that's a different story. But if you're still trying to figure them out and you're still trying to figure out what you want to bring out. And really think, for those of you out there that have lower developed clubs, really be thinking about bringing out your big topper. Because if we go into Golf Clash Notebook, let's go to Golf Clash Notebook, and we pull up drivers, and you've got an extra mile. Let's say you only have an extra mile that's, you know, below, what do we got, 50 topspin, so below level 7th. When you get to 7, you're picking up some distance, and when you get to 6, you're picking up some distance, and you've got that 50 topspin. Now here where you got the 50 topspin, if you got a 5 or lower, you're at 226. And a big topper at this point, you're probably looking at like a, if you're at that point in your extra mile, you're probably looking at a 3 or 4 big topper. So 220. Let's say you were at the 226. You got 226 or 200. Yeah, it's 226 in your extra mile. your EM. And if you only had a level 3 or 4 big topper, you're losing a ton of distance. Like let's say you had a level 3 at 209. So that's what, 117, 217, or 17, excuse me. That's 17 miles an hour that you're losing. Is that right? That's not right. That'd be 16, 17. Oh, it is 17. It's 17. So you're losing 17 yards on the drive on raw distance, but you got 100 topspin and you got 50 topspin. So you could do the same thing. You could go up there and find a spot, pull back from the red line, run all of your topspin, run all the 100, and pull back from the red line and find spots where you could shoot the ball forward to get up into those areas so you don't have to do any overpower, don't have to bring out anything super special. And if you found yourself still just a little bit short, you could change your ball from a 3 to a 4, and that'd be all you have to do. Now you don't have to do anything special. The whole idea on these holes is to not have to do anything special, not have to do any overpower, not have to do anything like that, so that you can just drive the ball down there, you're in a consistent spot, you take your second shot, you get your eagle, and you move along. As opposed to, hey, I'm going to do overpower, and I'm going to do this, and I'm going to bring out, just try and get them standard. Don't discount, for those of you that have lower developed clubs, do not discount your big topper. I mean, my buddy Dale Appleby he's on the pulpit right now, and he's like smacking it down. Like, this club right here is a huge, these holes are straightforward, where you're just running topspin. And this club right here could be the big difference. And a lot of people that are out there that are playing are going to stick with their extra mile, and they're going to go out there and do overpower to make up the difference, because they don't have enough topspin here at these levels down here to get the job done. But your big topper could. And they're what they're looking at on their big toppers are like, well, yeah, but it only hits 209 or 217. You're losing a bunch of distance. Yeah, but it hits 100 topspin, which is 50 more. I mean, that makes up that 17 yards in a hurry. So think big topper if you can. There was a couple of those holes out there that I used an APOC and I pulled way back from the red line, but I could have easily used a quarterback or a rock. And what you want to do there is whichever one's got the most, like your rock has more raw distance, but for most of its life it doesn't have more topspin. It's close, but for most of its life it doesn't have more topspin, but they could be an option too. And the cool thing about the rock and the quarterback is they have better ball guide. Not bad. All right, thanks for watching. Thanks for being a subscriber. If you're not a subscriber, hit subscribe, hit the like button, ring the bell, do all that good stuff. Leave me a comment, and I will see you on the next one. Thanks for watching, and stay safe, my friends.